Y'all know I had a very interesting question. But it wasn't even an interesting question. It was actually a real ass question. I asked myself, why the fuck do I constantly want to smoke? Like, why do I constantly want to smoke weed? Why do I feel like weed is something that I need? But it's not weed that we really need. It's pleasure. And I'm going to explain it to you. So basically, people know of feeling good. People know, oh, you know, what makes you feel good. Or do we really know what makes us feel good? I feel like that we know the things that make us feel good, but we don't know what makes us feel good. Dopamine is what makes us feel good. Your body depletes dopamine for a few reasons, right? Mainly because I wrote it down too. I take notes. Your body depletes dopamine for a few reasons, mainly because of how your body, not body, fuck. See, the body and the brain are different entities. Your body technically has no control. Your body is like the animal behind the your body is like a fucking animal, right? Your body is like a goddamn animal. So you cannot trust your body. So when I ask the question, why or what makes us feel good, I'm not saying what gives us a good feeling. I'm saying what makes your body feel good. And the science behind that shit, ladies and gentlemen, is dopamine. Your body, right? Your body depletes dopamine for a few reasons, mainly because of how your brain regulates pleasure, motivation, and reward. Dopamine isn't meant to stay at high levels all the time. This means that you aren't meant to feel something pleasurable all the fucking time. So when I ask myself, why the fuck do I constantly want to smoke weed? Why do I constantly want to masturbate? Why do I constantly want to scroll down Facebook and Instagram and shit all day? It's because of dopamine. But dopamine isn't meant to stay at these high levels all the time. We aren't meant to smoke all the time. We aren't meant to watch porn all the time. And I feel like the spiritual community has done a bad job in explaining why watching porn is bad, why smoking weed is bad. But really, no one's asking why is doing anything that gives you pleasure bad if it makes you feel good. Let me explain. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, dopamine is not meant to stay at these high ass levels all the time, right? It rises in response to a rewarding experience, right? Such as sex, such as smoking some weed, such as, seeing a funny ass video, right? You just keep scrolling, you just keep stroking, you just keep smoking. So basically, it rises in response to rewarding experiences, but that's the only thing they tell y'all. They don't tell y'all that it also naturally decreases to keep balance. Your dopamine levels naturally decrease to keep your black ass in balance with the real world. Let me give y'all some reasons on why this happens. First, homeostasis. See, I can see why most black men are out of balance with their pleasure, right? Or with how they give their pleasure. Because they didn't trick us thinking that homeostasis was something that was homo. But really, it's actually the quite opposite. It means balance. Homeostasis means balance, right? Yes, I take notes. I write notes. When did I write this? 2:20. That was yesterday, right? I'm constantly trying to stay in balance. Like, I'm not always writing, but when I do, it's probably because I'm not trying to overindulge. It's probably because I'm not watching porn. It's probably because I'm not worried about these hoes. That's balance. Writing and shit like that, that's just normal to me. But is it giving me pleasure? Like, some weed? Nah. So basically, homeostasis is just another word for balance, y'all. Your brain wants to maintain stability, right? So if dopamine spikes too often, like from drug use, social media, or even sugar, the sweetie shit that we eat, your brain reduces dopamine production or receptor sensitivity to prevent overstimulation. So your brain is helping your body prevent overstimulation by reducing the amount of dopamine that it produces, right? By, making some of those receptors and shit a little bit less sensitive to the weed that we smoke, right? This is why we constantly have to continuously do it. But what's the bad side about that, right? Overstimulation and tolerance. If you repeatedly trigger high dopamine through drugs, gaming, porn, etc., your brain adapts by reducing the number of dopamine receptors. And we know what the receptors are, right? It's what basically controls the sensitivity and how fast those receptors pick up the dopamine, right? So basically, this means you need more stimulation to feel the same pleasure. That means I need to smoke way more weed to feel the exact same high that I'm getting right now because I ain't smoked weed all fucking day, right? So basically, if you have to constantly smoke all day just to get that same high that a person that doesn't really smoke as often would get probably for the first, few times they do it, then this will lead to tolerance over time, right? You would need more, right? Or your body could tolerate more to produce the same effect a non-smoker or a smoker who smokes less would get. So this will lead to tolerance and over time dopamine depletion. That means your body will stop pumping or producing as much dopamine as it originally would, right? So what else triggers this dopamine, right? Chronic stress, lack of sleep, and poor diet can drain dopamine levels. High cortisol, which is the stress hormone, suppresses this dopamine production that we feel. This is what makes us actually, crave it more and shit like that when we don't have it, right? Because we feel like, damn, man, I can't even do the shit that I've been wanting to do, shit, simply because I ain't smoked all day. I ain't, did this all day, right? This will make it harder to feel happy and motivated when this cortisol is being pumped into our system, right? But the cortisol is only being pumped into our system. The cortisol is only being pumped into our system because we then depleted the fucking dopamine production over time. So when we keep on smoking, when we keep on seeking just the best of best experiences with everyone around us, whether it's us, or I wouldn't even say that. If we keep on overstimulating, whether it's smoking or doing anything to the point where it's just giving you too much pleasure, then cortisol, right, that stress hormone will be, you know, distributed throughout your body, right? Because this is what suppresses the dopamine production. So if we want to stop feeling the lag, then we got to stop going on the drag. We got to stop dragging ourselves to the last fucking dopamine fucking atom that we have, right? We have to, be able to have some balance, because if we don't balance ourselves out, our bodies will, simply because our bodies are naturally tapped into the frequencies of the earth. Our bodies are tapped into nature. What is nature? Well, nature is saying that dopamine isn't supposed to stay at high levels all the time. And it's also saying, in result of that, it's going to drop some of them fucking receptors from your team simply because your ass want to go out there and be He-Man and shit like that. Like, calm the fuck down sometimes. This is why balance is important. What else, people? Nutrient deficiencies. Your body needs certain nutrients like amino acids, B vitamins, C vitamins, goddamn D and all the alphabet vitamins, right, to produce dopamine. What is something that smokers, drinkers, and shit like that battle with when actually consuming those substances? Well, we're not really eating right, first of all. We're not really sleeping right. And we're just not getting those amino acids. We're not getting the vitamins that we need to increase those dopamine receptors. So I'm only making this video because I am not against, you know, feeling good and smoking and just having a nice time, right? With whichever source that gives you. I'm just saying that we have to at least know what's happening, right? When we're feeling like we need more, we have to start asking ourselves questions, right? Because it's a science to all this shit. But I ain't gonna make this video too long. Replay the video and tell me what y'all think. I share.